Hello again. It's 8:44. Let's go through the papers now with broadcaster Claire Muldoon and political editor of HuffPost UK, Kevin Schofield. Thank you again for coming back. Kevin, Joe Biden's mental health is being questioned, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's been another...
At a top level, actually.
Well, a very top level. So we spoke earlier about this case on an investigation into him retaining classified documents and how he's not going to be prosecuted because basically they don't think he's up to it because he can't really remember a lot about when he was vice president. There's been another example now. I think there might be a clip of him mistakenly referring to the Egyptian president as the leader of Mexico.
OK, let's have a look.
As you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I've become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
So I mean, he's right in talking about Al-Sisi, but got the country wrong. It's Egypt and not Mexico.
Exactly. And there was the example the other day where he talked about Francois Mitterrand being the leader of France.
A blast from the past.
He died in 1996.
Yeah.
And he take no pleasure in seeing it. It's a very uncomfortable watch. But as things stand, he's going to be the Democratic candidate in the election in America up against Trump.
Look,
someone else who, you know, there's...
In the days of Bernstein and from the Washington Post and whatever, all these investigative journalists that brought down... Bernstein and Woodward that brought down Nixon, that brought down... Where are the journalists? Where's the reporting in this? I can't believe that a country as powerful as the US are putting a man like that up as a president. I mean, what's going on?
Well, which one are you talking about? Because he's up against Donald Trump.
Well,
I mean, it's remarkable, the choice that the American public are faced with at the next election.
But Trump at least comes over strong, doesn't he?
To be fair, and I'm no Trump fan, I have to say, but, you know, if he was in charge now, I don't think we would have had the issues in the Gaza Strip and Ukraine. I think things would have been tenured a lot sooner and a lot tighter.
Yeah, but you see, you look back at I mean, part of the issue with that is, and I don't know if it's necessarily the right way forward, maybe it is because people think he's so unpredictable, they don't know what he's going to do, so they daren't do...
But there was a lot of things he did do that went under the radar.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he did a lot of good things. He brokered a deal between the UAE and Israel.
Yeah.
First ever of its kind.
Yeah, the Abraham Accords, but then that all went to pot, didn't it?
Exactly.
But I think the point is, as you were saying, is why aren't prominent people pointing out
calling it out,
that even though the Democrats appear to have no good alternative candidate, that it isn't right. It's almost abuse.
No,
I think it's stick that man on the podium and how many? You know, it's almost you're always waiting for him to make some.
I think they're blinded by the desire to stop Trump.
Yes.
And because Biden beat him the last time, and the polls, you know, they fluctuate, but they show that Biden could still beat him in November. They don't want basically to bring down Biden, because they think that will let in Trump.
But this is all going to play. This is playing into the narrative of personality politics, though. I have not seen a manifesto. I don't know what the US call it in terms of what the Democrats stand for against the Republicans. You know, there is nothing to come out and say, oh, look at this fiscal policy. Oh, look at their vision of the climate. No. Look at their vision of America. Look at their vision of China, India, etc., the international politics.
There's not that much between them. Which is why it's always... It's every presidential election, it's almost 50-50.
It's almost close.
It comes down to very few states every single time.
Is that because they have first past the PR instead of first past the...
Well, it's it's the electoral college system, and each state has different numbers of votes that go towards the final tally.
But it's totally partisan voting, isn't it? I mean, you're either one or the other. There's no in between. There's... I don't know, it does make you really... I am very upset for Biden because I know that by all accounts he was an extreme... I mean, he spent his life
Oh,
as
I mean,
an extremely good politician.
His CV is just
It's incredible,
astonishing.
yes.
Astonishing
And I think even if
level
you
of
don't
public
like him very
service.
much, he stood for a lot and he achieved a lot.
And it's sad to see
and to
him
end his
decline
career.
like this.
Yeah.
Where's his family around this? If I was Jill Biden, I would not allow my husband
I wouldn't.
to be out there.
No.
I really wouldn't.
It's not right,
No,
is
you,
it?
it's not nice to watch.
And yet nobody seems to be pointing it out.
Apart from us.
No,
Well,
apart from us.
They're not listening to us.
No. OK, Claire,
Yeah.
in the Times, we did this a few weeks ago
Yes,
about
we
giant
did.
tortoises being found in woodland. They've found 2 more
They
now.
found 2 more. This is just unbelievable. These tortoises have evolved from the Galapagos Islands, and they live for over 100 years, some of them, 150 years as well. And they've got their own...
We're showing pictures of lovely, healthy, huge tortoises, but these ones, sadly, have been found. Now, this must be the 7th or 8th.
9th.
The 9th.
9th.
They're found dead in woodland. Where
In Devon and
southwest?
Cornwall, yeah. A man in his 50s from the Exeter area has attended a voluntary police interview in relation to suspected offences under the Animal Welfare Act of 2006.
And they're such lovely, gentle creatures. Look at them. How could you hurt one of them?
What good would it do to harm these tortoises?
Well, it might not be deliberate harm, of course.
It's
It may just
obviously
be
illegal importing of some sort.
Well, hope not.
miscare or... But, I mean, it's just a disgrace. They say these creatures can live to, you know, well, twice as long as we can.
You'd like trees. I mean, they're organic, completely organic, and I think this is just awful. I really, really do. Such a shame.
Well, they need to get to the bottom of this because
Absolutely, yeah.
these are clearly animals that have been imported and have either,
yes.
been,
Yes, because they're
well,
not...
They must have been. They've been neglected.
They're very
in some
rare.
way.
Mm-hmm.
And when they die, they're being dumped in a nearby forest. It's
ridiculous.
It's
terrible.
awful, yeah.
Anyway, as you say, someone has been arrested
Or they've been brought in to question voluntarily.
Police with their
So
inquiries.
we shall see what happens with that one. Kevin, if you want a bottle of booze north of the border, the price is going up this year.
Yeah, so they have this thing called the minimum unit pricing in Scotland. And it's
That
going
was
up.
going to stop problem drinking. wasn't it?
Apparently, yeah, and it's gone up from 50 pence to 65 pence. It was announced yesterday. Now, I don't want anyone suggesting that's why me and Claire moved to England, because booze got more expensive in Scotland. But the idea behind it, as you say, was to try and tackle Scotland's alcohol problem. I mean, it's just a fact, you know, that there is definitely a problem with drinking. Now, the SNP say it's worked, and they've pointed to a study which suggests that it's worked and that it's
Study
saved.
out of 40 studies,
Well, exactly.
actually.
However, critics say it actually just penalises responsible drinkers. It makes drink more expensive for people who can drink responsibly, and those who have a drink problem just go without other things in order to pay for it. It's just because it's a necessity for them. So they're eating less, you know, so it's making them worse because they have less money to spend on healthier things because they spend it all on drink. So, you know, it's one of those things, it's a well-meaning policy, you know, you can see exactly what the thinking is behind it, make drink more expensive, therefore folk will drink less of it.
Well,
Doesn't work.
If you're an alcoholic, you're going to
You're going to get it.
You're going to do what you need to
tried it
do.
with fags, haven't they, over the years? And a lot of people are smoking less. That's not because of the bans in pubs and things, and not because of the price so much. Let's finish off with a bit of cake, should we, Claire? Why not?
Will we?
Yes.
Really? You know
well,
what?
actually, no.
After
This
having
is the
had...
most extraordinary birthday cake I've ever seen. Tell us about it.
You nailed it, Anne. Birthday cake. Because this is Damien Hirst, the most illustrious, one of the most illustrious modern artists, indeed one of the richest modern artists, and his girlfriend is pregnant and is due a baby. And what did he do to mark the birthday of his girlfriend? Produce this, get a cake made of the unborn child in vitro, showing the womb, showing her spine, and even the birth
Is that
canal.
the spine?
Yes,
Oh,
there'll
is
be
that the spine? I thought they were candles.
No,
going up.
well, it will be the candles as the spine, but that's the spine
I see,
there,
yes.
her spine, and it's just one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
If you're listening on the radio, it's like seeing a model of a womb.
It is a model,
yeah.
It is. It's got a baby in it, ready to be delivered, and it's a cake. And
It's very artistic.
As Stephen pointed out this morning, how are you going to cut that?
How are you going to cut it?
What do you ask?
Well, yeah, you
Can
don't
I-
want to
can I have
cut
a
through,
slice of
cut
the
through its
placenta,
head,
please?
or it's not.
I wouldn't mind the placenta. It's the you wouldn't want to cut into the
Into
child.
the baby?
No, exactly, yeah.
I mean, I know.
That's just
Look, if
weird.
you're the
It's
girlfriend
very
of
Damien Hirst,
Hirst,
though, isn't it? It's very
yes.
Damien Hirst.
Well, if it was pickled in formaldehyde, it'd be even more. Maybe that's what her...
At least it's not fully anatomically correct.
Is it not?
No.
It's a woman with a womb.
I haven't
It
looked
is,
at it
biologically.
Not entirely.
Good.
Which is probably just as well under the circumstances.
Yeah.
Thank you both very
You're
much
very
indeed.
welcome.
Let them eat cake, I
Thank you,
say.
yes.
See you
Maybe
again
not that
very
one.
soon. Here's your weather.